Hi, Doug Stworski for the U.S. Access Institute, LLC. Today we look at one specific element in our lesson series called Accessibility by the Element. That's where we take a quick look at the accessibility requirements and one specific element. We also do a comparison of the different ADA and state access codes and standards. We try to cover it from coast to coast. Remember, our goal is eliminating the confusion and access compliance. So check us out at www.usaccessinstitute.com. Okay, here we go. First, we start with the periodic table of accessible elements. It's not a real table in the access standard sense of things, but hey, we want to make access fun. We start, as we always do, in the 2010 ADA standards for accessible design. Next, we drill down to section 103, and that covers equivalent facilitation, the topic of today's video. Section 103 reads, nothing in these requirements prevents the use of designs, products, or technologies as alternatives to those prescribed, provided they result in substantially equivalent or greater accessibility and usability. There is an advisory note to equivalent facilitation. It says that the responsibility for demonstrating equivalent facilitation in the event of a challenge rests with the covered entity. With the exception of transit facilities, which are covered by the regulations issued by the Department of Transportation, there is no process for certifying that an alternative design provides equivalent facilitation. The U.S. Access Board publishes this document, Guide to the ADA, chapters 1 through 5. The question of whether an alternative solution is equivalent involves considerations as to whether it is just as, if not more, effective in the terms of accessibility, usability, convenience, and reliability for people with disabilities. The U.S. Access Board has published this booklet on accessible play areas. It also comments on equivalent facilitation. It says, equivalent facilitation is the concept of utilizing innovative solutions and new technology, design, or materials in order to satisfy the guidelines. These alternative solutions provide equal access and take advantage of new developments, but may differ technically from specific guidelines. The question of whether an alternative solution is equivalent involves considerations as to whether it is just as, if not more, effective in terms of accessibility, usability, convenience, and reliability for people with disabilities. This booklet, the Americans with Disabilities Act Title III Regulations, gives us an example. It states that a public accommodation may lower a portion of the counter, provide an auxiliary counter, or provide equivalent facilitation through such means as installing a folding shelf on the front of a counter at an accessible height to provide a work surface for a person using a wheelchair. In the booklet, Guidance on the 2010 ADA Standards for Accessible Design, it says, a commenter encouraged the department to include a procedure for determining equivalent facilitation. The department believes that the responsibility for determining and demonstrating equivalent facilitation properly rests with the covered entity. The purpose of allowing for equivalent facilitation is to encourage flexibility and innovation while still ensuring access. The department believes that establishing potentially cumbersome bureaucratic provisions for reviewing requests for equivalent facilitation is inappropriate. The ICC A117.1 standard does not use the term equivalent facilitation. It uses the term compliance alternative. It states nothing in this standard is intended to prevent the use of designs, products, or technologies as alternatives to those prescribed by this standard, provided they result in equivalent or greater accessibility, and such equivalency is approved by the administrative authority adopting the standard. Well, that wraps it up for equivalent facilitation. Thanks for watching. And remember that here at the U.S. Access Institute, LLC, our goal is eliminating the confusion and access compliance. So check us out at www.usaccessinstitute.com.